Hey guys, Indie Prepper here, doing a little review and thoughts and feelings about the current gun market and weapons for home and self-defense. There's obviously a run on centerfire semi-automatic rifles, AR-15s, AKs, anything like that, and the ammo. Almost impossible to find, and if you can find them, you're going to pay an absurd price. I was at the local gun show last month. They had $500 AKs selling for $1,200. They had AR-15s that were entry-level going for $1,500 plus. Absolute madness. And I got thinking, man, that's a lot of money for a rifle. They're good rifles, but that's just absurd. And cruising through and saw this little Hi Point Carbine used on a shelf stand from a little dealer I'd never seen before. He only had about 30 weapons total, and it was about $230 out the door. I cruised by it the first time. I said, "Oh, Hi Point Carbine. I already got one of those." Walked around the rest of the show, and something tickled me back in my head and said, what about that Hi Point Carbine? Why did I walk by that? I went back by it and looked at it, and I looked at the price, and the condition was okay. Stock's real beat up. A little bit of wear and tear on the rifle, but nothing much, especially for a rifle like this. $230. I said, this is the best deal at the show. Everything else is doubled in price or more. This thing's about going rate. Why hasn't somebody jumped on this? Everybody's ogling the expensive stuff, but only a handful of folks are buying because nobody can afford that kind of stuff. What about this one? Why did this get missed? It was in plain sight. It wasn't like it was tucked away somewhere. So I grabbed it and was glad to get it. I think I got the best deal at the show. In this day and age, you got to have a weapon. Rule of a gunfight, have a gun. Rule of self-defense, have something better than the enemy. And the guy busting in your door threatening you. Yeah, you may have a little 9mm pistol for the house. Well, you know what? A 9mm carbine's better. That carbine barrel is going to add you roughly 250 feet per second, or 20% extra on the overall velocity and kick butt power on this thing. You say, well, 9mm is not that much of a round. Well, tell that to the Special Forces and SWAT teams carrying MP5s in 9mm. They obviously the job just fine. You say, well, it's only got a 10-round magazine. Okay, fine. The number of rounds fired in most defensive shootings is 3.5 rounds. I'd go through several shootings and take out several folks without having to reload. Again, your handgun's probably not going to have many more than that. Maybe you've got 15 rounds in your 9mm pistol. I can hit targets farther away more accurately and hit them harder with this little carbine. It's lightweight, it's reliable, ugly as heck, but it does the job and does it very, very well. I've had another one for many, many years. It was a second centerfire rifle I owned. Love it, shot the heck out of it because I was at an indoor range at the time that only allowed pistol caliber rounds and shotguns, so we couldn't shoot rifles. And so I bought this just to play around with a rifle that I could shoot at the range. It wasn't a 22. The other one I had was this style. I upgraded the stock set. I don't think I'm going to do that with this. I think I'm going to keep it in this old but ugly style here. Okay, hideous but effective. Just because, why throw the money into it? This is a beater knock-around gun. I may keep this in the car, in the garage. I don't know. Just a beater rifle to have around. Carry it through the woods, let it get beat up, who cares? Didn't come with anything but a 10-round magazine. Standard peep sights up here. I do have the old mount for the optics from the other Hi Point Carbine that I've got. So if I ever want to put optics on it, I've already got that set up. I've got a 4X scope that came with the other one I never used. Mags are running about $17 a piece for the factory 10-rounders. I've already got a bunch. I don't know if I'll upgrade that. For a low price, for a $230 rifle, you can upgrade this thing if you want to make it more tactical. Like I say, $17 per mag. You get a laser attachment for the up front here to put a laser sight on it. You can get a compensator, which I think is kind of silly, for the recoil for about $15. The tactical stock, which allows you to bling this thing out and put gear all over it, look more like an AR or something like that, about $40 for the upgrade. We've got another one of those bids about that stock. You can get some mag clamps to put 2 extra mags on that tactical stock for an extra $10. Gives you 30 rounds on the gun, 2 on the stock and 1 in the gun. That's plenty. 30 rounds is plenty decent. Heck, 10 is plenty decent for most purposes. Overall, it's got a 16.5 inch barrel, 31 inches overall or so, and a little over 6 pounds. 6.25 or so pounds for the total rifle overall. Like I say, it's outside sheet metal. It's a cheap gun. It's an ugly gun. It's an inexpensive gun, but it's not garbage. You hear a lot of police and gun nuts badmouth them. There's actually some smaller police forces out there that don't have a lot of money that are using these as their carbines because they work. Okay, just because it's not pretty doesn't mean it's not going to work. I took this thing out the second time to the range after I'd lubed it up when I knew I was really going to put it through its paces. 100 rounds flawlessly. very accurate. My father, who is not a rifle shooter, and certainly not a semi-auto rifle shooter, tried it out, and he fired 10 rounds from roughly 15 yards away, just playing around at a very small piece of target, and 9 out of 10 bullets were all touching. And this is not a guy who fires rifles. He's never really shot through a peep sight before, nothing like that. Like I said, 9 out of 10 rounds in a space about like that, all touching. It was just a big ragged hole, and he had another one, you know, an inch outside. But again, he admitted he flinched on that one. He knew it was going to be a bad shot when he pulled the trigger. Trigger pull on this, a little bit spongy, but not bad. It's okay. Wears in with you, so this one's a little bit better than a stock one, in my opinion. So this one's got a little bit of wear and tear on it. If you look at it up close, you've got a little bit of corrosion. You might be able to see that there. Got some scratches where somebody took this thing off inappropriately and scratched up the finish. But, you know, hey, it's a Hi Point. Who cares? It doesn't really matter. Got a little bit of wear and tear here on the top, a little bit on the sights, which you probably can't even see. But for 230 bucks, something like an old Hi Point carbine bought from the pawn shop or something like that, it's probably going to be the best deal out there you're going to find for self-defense long arm, other than maybe a pump action shotgun. But for something semi-auto that can reach out and touch somebody, you can hit somebody easily at 100 yards with enough kill power. You can theoretically hit out to 200, but your round's not going to do a heck of a lot. So 100 yards for self-defense, you're not going to need to shoot farther, really. You can use this as a varmint gun. You can take care of varmints with a 9mm. You can do a lot with a 9, especially out of a carbine. Ammo is kind of pricey for 9s these days, but it's pricey for everything. But 9s are still some of the cheapest things to shoot out there. And again, this makes a great combo if you've got a 9mm pistol and the Hi Point line. But anyway, just thought I'd share my thoughts on this and just tell you guys you don't have to spend a fortune to get armed or get prepared. This will do the job fine. I had one of these for years and years and years right next to my AK. And honestly, in a home invasion sort of situation, I'd probably reach for this one. It's lighter and less recoil. And still going to do the job. So, 230 bucks from small dealer, used. Great deal. If I wanted to trick it out and put all the extra gear and tactical stocks and blah, 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 I might be looking at 340 bucks or so, which is about the going rate for the new one of these in the tactical stocks. But again, I don't know what those things are priced for these days, if you can even find them. Great little rifle, ugly as sin, but it'll get the job done. Anyway, guys, Indie Prepper out.